So another video from me. This is a Franzis radio kit at night, and I've put the medium wave Superhet. But before I'm going to show you the Superhet, there's some information. First of all, there's this user called SkyCarl, who has been commenting my videos since quite a while, and I really appreciate that. Thanks so far, SkyCarl. I'm sorry that I haven't yet replied to your comments or have written a message to you. I've watched your channel and I've watched some of your videos and I really like them. I just wanted to let you know, SkyCarl, that I get your comments and I appreciate them. Kleiner, I've watched your video about the DC to AC power inverter. Thanks for the project, it's working fine. But the beginning with the MOSFET explanation was great, but the power inverter could have been a little bit better. And you could have done some more measurements on the output voltage, and also you could explain that there is the need for a stabilization circuit, and also with the design that you made, the full bridge with N-channel FETs is really clever, really smart. But the problem is that you should have explained that you want to use low RDS on MOSFETs, and also the capacitor construction is kind of unnecessary, and if you're adding higher loads on the output like a 40 or 60 watts light bulb, I think you will get quite some noticeable voltage drop about the diodes and the capacitors. But I think this is for your first inverter, it's really a good job, great job so far. You could have connected your recorder to it, your cassette recorder or your CD player, and could show that it also works. But as I said, good job for your first inverter. You can continue making projects like this. I like them, and obviously other people do also. So now about this Franzis radio Superhet receiver. It uses a CD4007 as main chip. It uses two IF filters, which are ceramic filters, and has a little strange behavior about this thing, because this is the antenna wire, and if I take some time and wire it up, for example, if I put it in a high place in my room, the reception is really bad. And if I just throw it randomly on the ground, as you can see, I've just thrown it randomly on the ground, this is the antenna wire, it performs best. I will show you now the Superhet, and it's working, but it's not really working that good. It does work, and of course I have to admit that I was too lazy to do some proper alignment on it. I mean, there's a local oscillator coil that you have to align, and you also probably have to align some stuff on the variable capacitor. I was just not in the mood of that. Okay, now I'll turn on the radio or the Superhet, and the first thing you'll notice, there is some static, but this is just the static from the audio amplifier. Notice this. There we go. So here the local oscillator seems not to oscillate. And as soon as I get over this point, the local oscillator jumps in. Okay, I'll tune in the station. As I said, it's 11:39 at night now, so it's nearly midnight.
Acheter, louer, faire construire ou rénover pour réussir tous vos projets. Désormais, votre repère qualité, c'est NF Habitat.
NF Habitat, la vie devant soi.
Plus d'informations sur nf-habitat.fr. Vous n'avez pas pu passer à côté si vous avez mis les pieds récemment. On gagnera la lutte finale. Un dur, Marc, mais entre nous, est-ce qu'une dure lutte qui tue?
The selectivity is quite good actually, although there's no input selection. So the tuning capacitor is only tuning the local oscillator, not an input coil. So this is, I'm not sure if this is the station, so the dial is wrong because as you can see we are on 1 megahertz and the station would be on 801 kilohertz, and this station, this is a German station, it's 5 kilowatts. And there are just a couple of days left because on end of September, on the 30th, I think on 30th or 31, I'm not sure, at the end of September anyway, they're going to shut down this transmitter, as they are, as far as I know, shutting down the last leftover transmitters, medium wave transmitters that are still transmitting in Germany. They will be shut down at the end of this year. So this is the... So as you can tell, this is also some German music. So this is some German music, and as I said, the station is at the end of September, as much as I've read, they are shutting down the station, and this is a station that also can be received on day. And if they are shutting down the station, there is not any station left on medium wave, at least in my location, on day. I mean with an average radio with a Farad antenna. And yeah, this is how time goes. Can't really change it. But yeah, there it is. So as you can see, the dial also isn't right since we are on 1 megahertz and the station is on 801 kilohertz. But hey, I don't care. As I said, I would have to align the capacitor and the local oscillator coil, but yeah. So let's continue with the band scan. But this is another, I don't know if it's a German station, but the language is German. And there's quite some fading, it's hard to understand. So the French stations are really strong. Okay, there we go. So as you can see, the Franzis DIY radio kit, this is the Superhet receiver, is working. And of course we can have a look inside. Oh well we can't really because it's hard to do with one hand. But as I said, there is not so much stuff going on. We have a 2-diode demodulator, we have a non-HEC circuit with a CD4007 which has set as RF amplifier, local oscillator and IF amplifier. So it puts out the 455 kHz signal to a 2-diode demodulator and then a cheap LM386 audio amp. But as you can see, you can pick up quite some station, and I'm sure with some tweaking and tuning you can even increase the sensitivity of this receiver. Oh, and Clem, another question or something you were wondering about in your Superhet video is there was this this issue that you were able to receive this test transmitter twice. And either you received the first harmonic of the crystal, I mean on 4.4 MHz, it would be like 8.8 MHz, which is in the receiving range of your receiver. Or as I explained in one of my videos, you're receiving the so-called mirror frequency. That means if you tune if you have a transmitter on 1 MHz and you have an intermediate frequency of 500 kHz, and you tune your local oscillator to, for example, 500 kHz. Then you will get the difference from 500 kHz and 1 MHz, which is 500 kHz. And you'll, for example, hear your radio station, which would be on 1 MHz. You will hear it here on 500 kHz, just for example. And then you tune it on 1500 kHz. And you will also have the difference of 500 kHz between your radio station and your local oscillator. And then, of course, you also will hear it. So that's why you hear it twice. It's the so-called mirror frequency. And if you have some good filtering on the input of your receiver and also some other good filters, you pretty much will eliminate this. Also, what people or what designers made is they built a so-called dual conversion receiver. That means that they are having two intermediate frequencies. They're mixing it to one frequency and filter out one part of the frequency, and then they mix it to another frequency, which is the final IF, so they get a better selectivity and a better suppression of this so-called mirror frequency. So yeah, I mean, it's nearly 12 o'clock in the evening. It's nearly midnight, and it's not really the time where I make a video, but I was just in the mood to show this device working here. This Franzis radio kit Superhet receiver with the CD4007 integrated circuit, that it also is picking up quite some stations. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. And it also was pretty much a video because I read a comment from SkyCall, and I really wanted to inform him that I'm reading his comments, and I feel bad that I did always forget and never reply to one of his comments. So once again, SkyCall, if you see this, I read your comments and I appreciate them. And Clem, your power inverter video, I liked it. Keep going, keep making these videos. That's what I want to say is, I mean, you really know stuff. I was really impressed by the solution you got for this MOSFET issue, and also the explanation with the light bulb was really awesome. But the problem is, from the video, I felt like the first part was great and awesome, and then it, like you weren't in the mood for making a good inverter. I mean, obviously an inverter works, but you could have done some more explanation and you could have done some more measurements. But I mean, okay, for a first inverter, that's a really great design, a really great build. Okay, yeah, I don't know what's your next project, or if you're going into this Superhet stuff even more or whatsoever. Yeah, I just thought, hey, I mean, it's evening, let's do a quick video of this receiver with some, at nearly midnight. There are many AM stations, and now we are simply just going to test them, or better, going to have a listen to them, or we had. Okay, best regards, Stefan.